All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. This is about to be a crazy video. I don't think you've ever seen me like this. We got a Lamborghini Urus toy car. I'm wearing a Chanel purse as a necklace. And I don't think y'all ever seen me have like bags like I'm a fake Instagram influencer like this. So it's already crazy. And I'm sure your first thought should be, this is a flex. This is stupid. This is dumb. And to be honest with you, that is how I do feel about most of this stuff. And early on in my investing career and saving money, I always thought buying some of these items was like a complete waste. But over the years, I'm sure you have heard about luxury goods going up in value. And well, not all of these purchases are really a bad investment. So it's Thursday. I get to make one of these videos now for you. And today I am going to talk about hacking luxury goods. And what I mean by that is how to find things that are more valuable, that will hold their value. Really, all it comes down to is one, yes, you could make money, but there is also things in this world that when you purchase them, they go up in value instead of down in value. And I hope that I could help you understand that a little. Now, I was thinking about how I could make this video, and one big part of it is really going over the specific brands and the types of products and knowing exactly what to buy. I can make a whole video on that, and honestly, we'll probably talk about this on stream, and we have before in the past. But what I want you to get out of this video is understanding three big things. Pretty much what not to buy because it is luxury and it will go down in value. Two, understanding some of the fees involved with purchasing and understanding the true value. And then finally, understanding how to sell luxury goods. So that's the whole point. Everything in this video I could show you. Again, this is my girlfriend's purse. I'll tell you the story. She has a lot of these. She was buying these before she met me, and like these would be worth a lot of money, but the thing about it is that a lot of people talk about like luxury goods, even cars, and they're like, they go up in value and like they're worth more. But have you ever tried to sell a luxury good? It's not as easy as you think, and that is usually where you either wind up breaking even or losing money, believe it or not. So here is your luxury video, Chad. Drop your thumbs up on the video if you like this, and maybe you are going to purchase a luxury good. Let me know. Let's see if I can find. I got to hook up on Rolexes. We got a couple of things we could talk about, but for real, if you're not getting a long term, you're not saving 10%. This is not a video telling you to buy stupid stuff and to skip all of the steps. Honestly, I think everything in this video, that's why I use girl stuff, is all my girlfriend's stuff. The only thing I do is with cars and houses, and mainly cars. This watch thing is a funny story as well too, but overall, this wasn't really my wheelhouse, and I understand it now, but be wise with your money, Chatadonia. But the first thing we need to get into is what not to buy. The main point of luxury goods when it benefits you is you buy them and they go up in value. The traditional logic, you buy a new car, you drive it off the lot, it loses its value immediately. You buy a t-shirt, you wear it, you buy something, you use it, it goes down in value because it is used. Why does that happen? Because many items are mass produced. There is a lot of supply. Now, the thing about luxury goods is that they gain their value in the sense that they're supposed to have more quality, this and that, so many different things, but it really just boils down to supply. There is way more G-Shocks in the world than Rolexes. There are way more Toyota Corollas than there are Lamborghinis. You could get a Michael Kors purse easier than you could get a Birkin. And that is where these things are gaining and holding value. And this brings the exception to this idea of I can buy a consumer good and it actually goes up in value or holds its value rather than going down. So what does that work for? Like I just told you, the items with low supply. So this is what I want you to understand. Can you buy a watch, a luxury car, a purse, artwork even, and that's probably going to be the next video we're going to have to talk about, investing in art. But it's like you could buy almost anything. And as far as losing or gaining value, it is going to boil down to the overall supply. So whatever you're looking for, once you get into the brand, there is going to be certain things that are more mass produced than not. So what you should buy when it comes to luxury goods is things that are more rare. So we're going to talk about the purse a little bit. We'll bring up the watch, this color, the color of something, the color of a car, certain runs, even like watches that get discontinued. Those are, believe it or not, the things that actually go up and even skyrocket in value. So what you shouldn't buy, if you're like, okay, I want to buy luxury goods because they're hold their value or they could go up, don't go buy a wallet. Don't go buy a men's wallet. Don't go buy a belt. Any generic stuff. Certain shoes go up, but the thing with shoes, if you wear them and people use them, it's just like a whole different world. But hopefully you see what I'm getting at. This is not a license to go and buy every random object you could think of. No, it's the objects that are limited and in high demand. So even beyond just like colors and all of that, you got to think sizes. So a purse that is like the perfect size versus a big one or small one, that could triple in value versus something going up or down. Again, with cars, like even the Lambo that I had, that had a specific 4-seat configuration. There's a lot of cars coming out where they have specials like that. Certain sizing, again, watches, 36 millimeter, 41 millimeter. And again, here's the funny thing, depending on where you are, like 41 millimeters, super popular in the United States. Go to Asia, they actually like the smaller watches and they go for a higher value. So stuff like that. But if it is a weird size, it's kind of out of the normal, or it is kind of a mass-produced object like the blankets and the cups by some of these companies, those aren't really going to have the same effect. So step number one, don't buy the generic mass-produced stuff. Even if it has a high name brand, what you want to look for is uniqueness and then mass appeal, or even historic mass appeal. Again, sometimes the legacy of something will carry on. A G-Wagon holds value. There's legacy behind the design and how it was. Even the Lambo Urus, the SUV, that is part of it. Again, some of the classic designs, you know, they call certain watches. This isn't a presidential, but they call certain things like that. This is a Jubilee bracelet, but certain things have a really long-standing history, and that could also feed into that value that we're talking about, or that demand. So that's the first thing. Now, very quick, like I said, maybe in the follow-up, I'm gauging you, chat. I'm seeing how you like this video. It's very weird. Again, you don't really see this from me, but I hope I could at least help some of you or give you some more insight into this, because again, when I've passed up, like I had people offer me back in the day very rare Rolexes that are worth a lot of money today, and I passed up on all of them because back in the day when I was first getting money and I had the opportunity, I always thought it was a waste, and I still believe that, but now I've realized, well, in a certain way, these are kind of like artwork, and it's not as bad as you think, especially now, depending on how you use it. So before I get into some of the financing and the deeper stuff, that is the next big thing. Luxury goods, no matter how rare, no matter what it is, if it's super rare, you'll get lucky in this instance, but the minute you use them, the value diminishes. The minute you see this on my wrist, it is different than having it in the box. Again, this watch now, how much is this watch? About $9,000. That's how much it would cost you at retail. You want to go to a watch website to buy it aftermarket, it's going to run you $14,000 to $15,000 right now. It's a Datejust 41, the blue dial, Jubilee. Go look it up, do what you need to. These watches are dirt cheap at retail. And how do you go about getting it? You go and you put your name down, you wait for the list. We have another one. Again, I'm like going into a lot of stuff with it, but what I'm trying to tell you, this watch increases in value. And if I kept it in the box and I never wore it and kept the stickers on it, that is a much different value than a watch that has now been on my wrist that I have worn. Again, that's the funny story with this purse. This is a beautiful purse. It's one of my girlfriend's favorite. This purse would be worth like $20,000 if she didn't wear it and use it all the time. So that's why. If anybody wants to buy it, I'll tell her to sell it, okay? No, but this is how it comes down to it. This is the trap with the luxury goods. This is the paradox. If you don't use it, you keep it in good condition, it's borderline going to be an investment, especially if it is rare. The minute you use it, you now are opening up the door that a lot of your investments don't face, because the more you use it, depending on how you use it, it will lose value, could borderline diminish. And now, unlike stocks or real estate, these could be stolen, damaged, natural disasters. I guess real estate could apply to that too. But the point is, it's a different sort of risk and element. And once you start using these goods and once they get worn down, the values start to change drastically. So if you plan on buying something to use the living crap out of it and think you're going to sell it for a profit, no. Best case, you get your money back or you lose a little bit. Now, in some instances, that's better than not. Like with cars, you could go beat up a car. Again, I crashed my Lambo and sold it for a profit, and I put 10,000 miles on it. The market was more favorable, but maybe I could have just, instead of making a profit on it, I could have kept that car for another year, drove another 40,000 miles, maybe like 30,000, and then sold it for what I paid for and then got my money back. So that's how it is. Or maybe just lose a little. That brings up the element now of utility versus price paid and what you got and all of that. So point is, the minute you start using them, though, that is the next element. And depending on how used it gets, or if it's lost or stolen, or if you preserve it, that is now makes the world's difference. And then we get into the next topic, buying and selling. So here are the final two things, and I hope you got the first part, but now the second thing I want you to understand is that luxury goods, let's say you find a rare item. Let's say you can buy this Rolex now at retail price. You could get a car going for retail price right now that has a above sticker value. That would be a great investment. You know, you could either buy it right away and sell it, buy it, use it for a little bit and sell it for a profit, or maybe get your money back. But make sure there are no fees associated. Now, you may be getting the certain item, but if you don't have this plan set and you're buying luxury goods, again, items with very weird utility and high prices, you got to really ask yourself the cost associated. Usually, that's why people say you buy these things cash. There's nothing associated. That is what makes it the best deal. But what I want to tell you is that nowadays, there's a lot of places that'll say, hey, we sell this, we sell that, and it may look like a good price, but there is credit card fees. If you're going to try to finance a car, don't get scammed by the dealer or whoever on the financing. But the minute you attach financing to any sort of luxury good, just like any other asset, it really begins to change the viability, or just really puts a ticking time bomb as far as, hey, this is what you got. This is what that asset needs to do for this to be viable if you're paying higher interest on it. Or again, what a lot of people don't realize, like go and try and buy a Rolex on a credit card. If they just charge you like a processor fee, like the gas station, that's going to be like another $1,000 to $2,000, believe it or not. And that's a world's different. $1,000 or $2,000 is 10, 20, 30%, depending on how much you paid for it. So that's the second thing I want you to understand. And now here's the final thing. And this kind of eliminates the whole video. And this is the reality of it. And I don't know, people don't say this a lot. And again, I have certain things. My girlfriend had more like luxury goods. I learned this through the cars. Houses, it's a little bit different, but especially with the cars. But again, any luxury good, the final thing you got to be worried about, and this is before getting into the brands and all of that, is you really have to have a plan to sell it. It's the stock market. You may have a lot of unrealized gains in luxury items. Try to sell it. And this is where the scam happens, because, and this is how you're going to get better at it if you want to, you're going to get this on lock. You need to know who buys stuff. You need to have your buyers in check. If you do plan on selling something, or you got to really think about this with your costs, especially some of you are like, I'm going to buy this nice car. It's screwed up with the cars. It's a mafia. And what I mean is that these people who own all of like the networks, like the car dealerships, these people that do the reselling, the consignment, these are the people who have it on lock. And what I'm trying to tell you is that if you go to try to sell a car, go to try to sell a purse, sell a watch, where are you going to sell it? So if you just try to list it yourself, you're probably not going to get the price you want, or you may realize this takes a lot longer than I expected, or you're going to probably get a bunch of low balls. And overall, it is usually difficult finding a buyer for luxury items and doing it on your own. What most people resort to is something called consignment, where you go to a car, like an auto dealer, and you say, here's my car, sell it for me. That's what I did with my Lambo, and they ended up scamming me. It's, again, a very shady business. It depends who you work with. I get to learn. But I've done it before in the past, and I've had great experiences. Again, you go to like some of these pawn shops or the Real, those are consignment. They take luxury goods, sell them. You could go sell a watch. You could sell it online. You go to like Chrono24. They charge you fees. And again, go see the other prices. And that's the final part, is that usually there is a fat spread when it comes to buying and selling luxury goods. You want to buy a car, you're going to pay really, really high. Come time to sell it, even if it's great condition, low mileage, you're going to find out the bid is a lot lower if you're trying to monetize it and get that really, really quickly. Same thing with all of these goods. So keep that in mind, because if your plan is like, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and you haven't really thought about selling or have never sold a luxury good, make sure you don't try to do it on a very, very big purchase for your first time, because you might find the reality and it becomes a time-consuming process. I think even for my Lambo, to give you an idea, I sold it and I made just under like $100,000 of profit on that vehicle, which was amazing, but it took me about like 4.5 months, 5 months to sell, from like listing it, going to dealers, putting it on consignment, waiting, and then playing the game, and then they were shady too. But this stuff takes time. You're not going to sell it as fast. Again, houses even take time to sell, but stocks are the quickest. But all the stuff here, if you don't have your exit plan, just know whatever you think it may be worth, the final selling price, a lot of the times, that is the reality check. So Chatadonia, I hope this video helps. I know it's a little bit different, but like I'm saying here, I used to view this stuff different. It's not like, I guess I'm kind of neutral on it. I mean, pretty much I'm opportunistic. I see something, if it's luxury, I'm like, hey, now I know the value those things possess. I know there is some value, and it's not as bad as an investment as I initially thought, but it's also like, like I'm still wearing, I'm wearing the XX misprint, merch right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, find your balance with it, and don't be like dumb about this, but it's, again, you start to like tie this knowledge. It makes sense, and this is supply and demand. Some financing stuff comes up, and now the final thing is what to buy. Location. But I think this video is long, so we might have to make that for the follow-up. So let me know what you think about it, Chad, but I'll see you tomorrow. Non-farms in the morning. That's it, and then everything. CPI next week, then earnings, then power. We already ready to go, baby, but Horna.